Hi, I'm ivory.doodles and welcome to my channel. I'm mainly a digital artist and I focus on making fan art and redesigns for my favorite books, movies, and shows. This video will contain spoilers for Miraculous Ladybug if you haven't seen it already. I've already done a rewrite and redesign of Marinette and Ladybug where I explain the original show as well as some of the changes I've made to the plot. Make sure you watch that video first if you want the full context. For anyone who hasn't seen the show, Miraculous Ladybug is a French CGI animated show starring two main protagonists, Marinette Dupanchang and Adrien Agreste. Both of them possess magical jewels that allow them to transform into the protectors of Paris, Ladybug and Cat Noir. Their mission is to defeat the supervillain Hawkmoth and take back his Miraculous. Although this show has a very basic premise, there are a few issues that I'll attempt to fix in my rewrite and redesign. As a quick disclaimer, I'm not making this video in an attempt to trash the show. In spite of the issues I have with some of the writing and characters, I still enjoy the show for what it is. As of right now, the show has a complete 5 seasons, 3 specials, and a full-length film that was released on Netflix. Across the 5 seasons that have been released, the same basic formula has been used for each episode. Someone in Paris gets upset, Hawkmoth akumatizes them into a supervillain, and Ladybug and Cat Noir defeat the villain and set everything back to normal. In addition to the superhero side of things, the show also has a heavy focus on romance, which the fandom has nicknamed the Love Square. I explained this concept in my previous video. In the original show, Adrien is a famous teen model and the son of the world-renowned fashion designer Gabriel Agreste. He was given the Black Cat Miraculous by Master Fu, the guardian of the Chinese Miracle Box. With the help of his Kwame Plague, he is able to transform into Cat Noir and defend Paris from Hawkmoth with the help of Ladybug. In the Origins episode, it is revealed that Adrien lived a very secluded life prior to the show's main timeline. He was homeschooled his entire life, and the only person he was allowed to spend time with was his childhood friend Chloe. Since Adrien didn't know many people his age, he often acts aloof or clueless in certain social situations, which is one of the more endearing parts of his character. Unlike the other main character, Marinette, who has aspirations to become a famous fashion designer, Adrien doesn't have any dreams or aspirations of his own, and has always done whatever his father told him to do. I want to expand upon this idea in my rewrite of his character, and cause more tension between Adrien and his father as he tries to gain more independence. One of my main issues with the characters in this show is that almost every character has the same basic personality and they don't have many character flaws. Besides a few key characters like Hawkmoth, Chloe, and Lila, most of the people in the show seem unnaturally nice. My version of Adrien is pretty different from the original show. In canon, Adrien is reserved and avoids conflict, but is still pretty charismatic. I want my version of Adrien to lean more heavily into the socially awkward side of him and make him a lot more unsure in social situations. One of the major inspirations for Adrien's character is Todoroki from My Hero Academia. Like Adrien, he was socially cut off from kids his age and was forced to follow his father's every command. This causes him to miss a lot of social cues and he often fails to understand the actions of his classmates. In addition to being very socially awkward, my version of Adrien is even more closed off and reserved and can also come off as very cold and antisocial. I wanted to base a lot of his personality around Felix, who was the original Cat Noir when the show was first being developed. In the original show, Adrien actively avoids conflict and often bends to the will of the people around him. This character trait of his is most apparent through his relationship with his father, Gabriel Agreste. Adrien's father is very overprotective of him, which causes him to become very strict and controlling. Although Adrien has spoken out against his father once or twice in the series, I want to lean more into Adrien being a rebellious teen who resents living under his father's control. This will also play into his personality as Cat Noir, who is a lot more reckless and impulsive than his partner Ladybug. If you haven't seen the show, this next section contains spoilers for Adrien's backstory in Season 5. If you want to avoid these spoilers, you can skip to the timestamp on the screen. In Season 5, it's revealed that Adrien, as well as his cousin Felix, are senti monsters. For anyone unfamiliar with the show, Senti monsters are living creatures that are created by a person's emotions by using the Peacock Miraculous. In the original show, Adrien's mother, Emily, and her twin sister, Amelie, were both unable to have children. In order to give his wife a child, Adrien's father found the Peacock Miraculous, which was then used to create Adrien and Felix. However, the Miraculous was damaged, causing Adrien's mother and Felix's father to die. At this point in the show, Adrien has no idea that he's a Senti monster. I didn't really like the idea of Adrien being a Senti monster, so I decided to slightly modify his backstory. In my version of the show, Adrien's parents still struggled to conceive, but after years of trying, Emily eventually became pregnant with Adrien. However, Emily's sister was still unable to conceive, so Emily used the Peacock Miraculous to give her sister a baby just like her. In my version of the story, Felix is the only Senti monster, and Adrien is an actual human. After creating Felix for her sister, Emily becomes sick from using the broken Peacock Miraculous and dies. This will fuel Gabriel's need to control Adrien, as well as Adrien's temptation to rebel against his father. For Cat Noir, I want him to basically be Adrien's opposite. Cat Noir is who Adrien truly is under the mask he puts on in public. Like in the show, he can be very charismatic and flirty, especially around Ladybug. He also has a lot more confidence as Cat Noir and feels more comfortable expressing himself and his ideas when he is no longer under his father's control. This confidence can often be mistaken for arrogance, which leads to a lot of tension between Ladybug and Cat Noir when they first meet. Another thing I wanted to change is how Adrien gets his Miraculous in the first place. In the original show, Adrien was given his Miraculous by Master Fu after helping him up off the ground. In my version of the story, I wanted to change things up and give Adrien a more legitimate reason to become the holder of the Black Cat Miraculous. As I explained in my previous video, in my version of the show, Marinette gets her Miraculous due to being the reincarnation of the mage who originally created the Chinese Miracle Box. After giving the Ladybug Miraculous to Marinette, Master Fu sets out to find someone to be the holder of the Black Cat Miraculous. He intends to find someone older and more responsible to help guide Marinette as he becomes more comfortable with a new role as Ladybug. However, after running into Adrien on the street, Fu loses the Black Cat Miraculous and it ends up in Adrien's school bag. Adrien is angry with Fu for bumping into him and decides to keep the Miraculous instead of returning it. At the beginning of the story, Adrien is quite like his friend Chloe. Adrien is very selfish and only uses the Miraculous for his own gain. Instead of helping Ladybug fight the akumatized villains, he instead uses his powers to rebel against his father and do whatever he wants for once. After several battles where Ladybug struggles to defeat akumatized villains on her own, Adrien is given a reality check by his Kwame Plag and his best friend Nino that finally convinces him to join Ladybug in the fight against Hawkmoth. Even though Cat Noir has started working with Ladybug, they have a very dysfunctional partnership in the beginning. Ladybug struggles to trust Cat Noir since he refused to work with her in the beginning, and Cat Noir thinks Ladybug is stuck up and bossy for not trusting him. Their relationship improves over time and they become true friends in the episode Copycat, when an akumatized villain takes the form of Cat Noir to prove that he would be a better partner for Ladybug. The events of this episode cause Cat Noir to realize how he mistreated Ladybug in the beginning, and it drives him to become a better partner and take his job as a superhero more seriously. For his powers, I want to keep them basically the same as they are in canon. In the original show, Cat Noir has a special power called Cataclysm that allows him to destroy anything that he touches. He also has both night vision and super hearing, which are both only used once in the show. In my rewrite, Cat Noir has all three of these powers, in addition to enhanced stealth, agility, and balance, as well as the ability to climb walls using his claws. In my redesign of Adrien, I wanted to make his outfit more preppy and more like something I could see Gabriel dressing him in. In the original show, Adrien wears a black striped shirt with a white button-up on top, along with a pair of jeans and orange sneakers. I wanted my redesign to have a much simpler color palette. I stuck with mostly neutral tones and less saturated colors. In my design, Adrien wears a white button-up top with a black turtleneck underneath, which was inspired by his original design. To make his design a bit more warm, I decided to give him some brown pants, and I gave him a pair of black boots to wear on his feet. Something that I thought was interesting about Adrien in the show is that he doesn't know how to tie his shoes. I decided to give him shoes where he doesn't have to tie the laces, just like the ones that he wears in the show. I also gave him a gray bag like he has in the show to give him somewhere to put his school supplies and hide his kwami. I also wanted to use a bit more neutral color palette to make him look more cold and unapproachable. I decided to make his hair a light blonde and his eyes a pale green to go along with the other desaturated colors in his design. I actually don't mind Cat Noir's canon suit design, so I didn't change it too much. I decided to make his suit a dark gray with a few black sections so that his design didn't look so one-dimensional. To help break up the black even more, I gave him a silver belt buckle and I kept the bell that he wears in the show. I also added a zipper below the bell so that his torso wouldn't look so bland. Another thing that I changed from his original design was the shape of his mask. I decided to make a small cutout around his nose to give his mask more of an interesting shape. I also gave him completely green eyes like he has in the show, but I made the iris more of a neon green compared to the pale green eyes that he has as Adrien. I also darkened his hair to more of a golden blonde, and I made it a lot messier to help him look different from Adrien. Another thing I added to his design was small fangs to make him look a bit more cat-like. Since I've already finished my redesign of Adrien and Cat Noir, as well as Marinette and Ladybug, I plan on redesigning some of the other characters like Alia, Nino, Chloe, and Hawkmoth. If you made it to the end of the video, I really appreciate you watching and making it all the way to the end. As I already mentioned, I plan on making a part 3 about one of the other characters. Let me know if you'd be interested in seeing redesigns of any other characters from Miraculous Ladybug, or just any art you'd like to see from me in general. If you enjoyed my art in this video, I also have Instagram, TikTok, and Tumblr, all of which are ivory.doodles. They're all linked in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.